And welcome to my video about the Nissan Qashqai. Living with the car for over a month now, and I just came back from a long trip. I just wanted to record a quick video on how I feel exactly right after finishing, just to have a glimpse into what I'm gonna say about the car. I'm gonna tell you that the last time I put some diesel in it was in Luxembourg, and I'm in Manchester now. That's about 500 miles, 400 miles, no, 500 miles, yeah, or 1,000 kilometers, something like that, 600 miles. So you have an idea of how economical this car is and how good for the road as well. I'm gonna talk about these things and the things I loved most about the car that I spent with the last over a month, I think 6 weeks or 5 weeks. Obviously, I did about 6,000 kilometers, which is about 4,500 miles, which is a lot, but I wanted to tell you guys that I really enjoyed spending time in this car, and I really liked it. It had some quirks, some things I didn't like, but in general, honestly, it's a great car for dropping kids off at school, or even for European continental trips. I was driving here, I was driving through many countries in Europe, and just to give you an idea, I was coming back, last time I put some diesel in it was in Luxembourg, like I said, and I wasn't driving slow because I was late for the ferry in France. Actually, I wanted to catch an earlier one, so I was driving 150 kilometers an hour, which in France the limit is like 130 kilometers in most places, but I was driving 150 because the speedometer is lying a bit, so I was looking at the sat-nav speed, which is much more accurate, and it was showing me on the speedometer I had 150 kilometers, and in the sat-nav it was showing under 130. So there were cameras, but none of them was triggered. So just to give you an idea of how economical this car is, it doesn't mean you have to drive in the slowest lane and still get that kind of you can still get that kind of economy basically from the car. And as well, here in UK, when I arrived in Dover, near Birmingham, I was honestly, to give you an idea how good the car is, I was driving together with some guy in a Porsche Cayenne, a big SUV, which would just basically leave me in the rear view mirror whenever he wanted. But if you're driving normal speeds, and I was driving as well, in here the limit is like 70 miles per hour, but through sat-nav I could see I could do like 79, almost 80, and it's still under the speed limit because the speedometer is lying a lot in here. And you could I could I overtook basically the guy in Porsche Cayenne on the roadworks over other parts of motorway, because obviously on that level with 70-80 miles per hour, this car is easily doing the same things in terms of speed, acceleration, like Porsche. Obviously you can accelerate quicker in Porsche, 2-3 seconds quicker, but this car, when you move through the gears and when you pick up the pace, it's nothing to be concerned, comparing even to cars like Porsche. So I really enjoyed this driving this car. It's got loads of space. I could take all the stuff, snowboard, all the gear, everything. I still have my kids car seat in the back. I had to drop them off the airport. They were going one way, I was going another way, and I did like a lot of miles, and I can still I can safely say basically that it's an amazing car for short trips and longer trips. The only issue I had with the longer trips, but I was driving sometimes 10 hours straight, just stopping 2-3 times for coffee, So that's, you know, that's an extreme distances, you know, at least for me. And the only thing I noticed is the seat is not the most comfortable. It's not bad, but it's not, you know, up there with the best, like some Mercedes or some luxury cars, you know, the long distance cruisers. This one has the lumbar support on the side here, which helped a lot. I just moved it, you know, all the way down, which pushes the lumbar support basically maximum, you know, to the front, and it's helped a lot, you know. It made a difference. It just, you know, obviously sitting in a car for 8 hours, 9 hours is always gonna probably, you know, cause some pain. Depends, you know, how strong your back is, or mine maybe is not that strong, like, you know. But this was, you know, the only like downside, let's say, on the long distance cruises, you know. Apart from that, everything is spot on in this car, you know. The position is spot on, the driving is okay, you know. Obviously it's an SUV. I'm not a big fan of SUVs personally, because you always get that, you know, wobbly ride. You always get that, you know, in the turns, on the curves, you know, you always get that leaning in the corners basically. And believe me, it's the same in Nissan Qashqai, it's the same in BMW X5 that I tried as well. It's the same in probably most of the cars, because I was watching as well some reviews with Porsche Macan, with Alfa Romeo, you know, Quadrifoglio, the Stelvio, the SUV, with Audi SQ5, you know, with Range Rover, you know, SVR, and they were all, you know, all the different reviews I was watching, all of them were saying that, you know, you take it to the track or you take it in faster corners, you can still feel the body leaning. So I think it's the case in all the SUVs. You know, like I said, I personally am not a big fan. I prefer a lower car, you know, easier to get in, get out probably, and obviously no leaning in the corners, and no jittery rides, you know, ride over bumps like in this ones. But you know, this car is a bestseller in UK, and rightfully so. It's quiet. It's actually, you know, quite refined for what it is. Obviously it's not like, you know, Mercedes S-Class, but it's quite refined, you know, especially in Europe where the asphalt, the tarmac is different. It's much more, you know, smooth and quiet, so you can't hear anything. In UK they're changing the tarmac in many places, so it's already very quiet in places, but some places still get that coarse one where you have to, you know, basically just to be just more noise coming into the car. So apart from that, you know, the feel of the car is great. Like I said, it's an SUV. The economy, the long distance cruising is amazing in this car. You can, you know, take it anywhere, and honestly you won't feel like, you know, the car is underpowered or you have problems. This is, you know, the 1.5 DCI, the top seller, you know, the one that they sell most. So this is, like I'm saying, you know, in my reviews, all the car you ever need. This car might be all the car you ever need for you, because if you're looking for these things, you know, to cover all the bases and still have a car that is not very expensive, you can probably get a very good deal on it. Honestly, you know, I didn't notice anything that I didn't like in this car. The things that I liked were the quality, you know, of the interior. It's really good. No noises coming, no clacking, no clicking, no rattles, no nothing. What I love about the car is the lights that I will show you. The LED lights on the Tecna are absolutely amazing. The beam pattern is cut like a laser light, you know, like a sword, you know, basically through the road. This is one thing that stood out for me, you know, like this is the quality of the probably the cars that cost 3-4 times more than that, and you have that in a car like this, and driving in the dark, especially in UK now in the winter, you know, 4 o'clock, it's dark already, so it's really useful for that. So I'm trying to think honestly, guys, anything that I don't like about this car, and usually I have always some points that I can moan about, I can say something, but I'm really struggling to find anything about this car. Would I buy it for myself? After spending so many weeks in it, I don't think I would, because like I said, I prefer lower cars, maybe even estate car, or some if I need something practical, like maybe estate, or the like BMW 5 GT, like like a hatch type of car. But spending so much time in this car, I really got like, it's like it gets the job done. It's always there for you, never never so like I said, I cannot even think about any negative points about this car, especially in this trim, in this Tecna trim. It's got all the toys, even stuff that really helped me once or twice. There is near the mirrors, there is this blinking light when somebody's in your blind spot, but there is also a thing called cross traffic, basically when you're reversing and you're between cars, or you cannot see what's going on outside and you're reversing slowly. The car is basically spotting there for you, and if something is coming over, it just blinks the lights very fast. When it's like somebody's in a dead zone, it just blinking slower, but with the cross traffic, it's just blinking fast, so you can see the difference basically, and be careful about reversing the car. But to be honest, I cannot find any fault honestly myself. The sound is amazing with the Bose speakers, maybe not top of the range, but it's still good enough for me, and everything works, everything is nice. Oh, I think I've got one downside. I'll show you a photo of the seat heaters basically. And one thing is I don't like the design. I don't know what they're doing here between the seats. They should be on the dash, in my opinion, where the air conditioning is, like most of the car companies are doing. But the other thing is that they're ugly, they're out of place, and the other thing is that they don't heat properly basically on the high setting. It's too hot, it's getting hot very fast, so that's good, but it's too hot. And on the low setting, it's like in between, it's like not too cool but not too hot, at least for me. And what I do always is like just switch it on for the high setting, and when it warms up, when I feel it's warm enough, I just switch it off completely, and then it's better like that to have it for me. But this is probably the only downside I can think of, and I would really recommend this car if you can find a model without any rattles, because I heard you can read other people's stories, they have quality issues, this car sometimes, so I would recommend always buy a used one if you can, maybe 1 year old, maybe something like that. Go for a test drive, switch everything off radio, because sometimes the salesman is trying to switch on the radio or something, just switch it off, pull the windows up, don't let the salesman to pull it down. I had a test drive once like that, when you basically put the windows down, try to switch on the music. I said no, just put the windows up for like 2 minutes. I switched off the music, and you can listen to the car going over bumps, and you can listen if everything's going, I find it very annoying, if the car has rattles, and I had a car, BMW 3 Series like that, and the noise was coming from the B pillar, and it was driving me crazy. It was almost new car, 1 year old car. I didn't find it when I was test driving, because I didn't even look for it. And then it was under warranty. I took it 3 times to BMW. They never fixed it. They said they did, but they never did. So if it's something that's not annoying for you, you can some people just turn up the music, but if it is, then just buy a used one, save some money, and go for a test drive. You know, everything quiet in the car, just listen to the car, drive over bumps, you know, try it. And if you find an example like that, like this one that I was driving, just dead quiet, you know, no sound, the engine is super quiet, you know, everything is quiet, the car is, you know, really refined and amazing for the value that it is, the money, you know, really that the car is on the first place, you know, in terms of sales of this crossover SUVs is a reason for that, because this is such a good car, you know. So thank you guys. If you have any questions, let me know, because I'm trying to think about something, but honestly, you know, I spent so much time in this car, I really liked it, I really loved it, you know. Mirrors are huge. I thought they will make wind noise, you know, over the mirrors, because they are huge, you can hear a lot of things, but it's still amazing. It's no noise coming to the car. So if you've got any questions, let me know. Hope you enjoyed the my living with Nissan Qashqai review, and see you in the next videos. Thank you guys for watching.